even if it's a simple diet or you think it's keto approved. I think just the act of diving back into those old habits, it brings back all that negativity too. And yeah, so.
And then how you feeling now? You're feeling a lot better.
I feel like I'm on top of the world.
So if anybody out there is struggling right now, you cheated on Thanksgiving, you went off plan a little bit and you're still in that rut, just get back on.
Yeah.
I promise you're going to feel better.
So much better.
A couple of weeks ago, I wasn't in the best place up here. I mean, I wasn't like way back in the day, but I could just tell a difference, and to add on to what Dave was saying, the alcohol and the drugs is definitely obvious for hitting that accelerator. But a lot of people, especially who eat the standard American diet and aren't, aware of the proper human diet spectrum, they don't even realize what the food's doing to them.
No.
That's why we're all getting the word out, right? Because they're hitting the accelerator and they don't even know,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'd add to what y'all are saying too. And it's really hard for me to talk about it because, well, for multiple reasons. One, because for the longest time, my wife didn't really want to tell anybody, but my wife, she struggles really, really bad with different, things like the depression, anxiety, all that different stuff. And I kept getting people to mention different things on my YouTube videos, and I would never, ever bring it up or talk about it because I was always scared that eventually I would let something slip about my wife's situation. And eventually, not too long ago, my wife was like telling me that it was okay if I said anything or whatever, because I guess she just felt like she would be okay with it. So like now I will be okay more talking about it and things like that, because it really is, it's crazy. And my wife, she's taking medication and stuff, and it's like, I'm not saying that I'm a huge proponent of everybody having to take medication, but like sometimes that's might be what somebody has to do. And it's helped her tremendously and helped our relationship because she's coming out of that really, really dark place. And so if you need to talk to somebody or get a therapist or whatever you need to do, look, don't ever let it get to the point where you do something crazy that you can't take back. Definitely talk to somebody.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, even though I am definitely not, my story, that I try to buck the health system as much as I possibly can. I would much rather somebody take a pill like Paxil or Wellbutrin than, go down that deep, dark hole, and who knows where that can lead.
Well, I want to tell Kenzie too, like this is for you, because I know you're watching, and I love you and Kip and Abigail. And don't think because you see some people on YouTube doing live shows and trying to help other people that we don't struggle too, because I can assure you that after 296 pounds and all the list of things that I've reversed, it's not that I don't struggle. I can assure you that the struggle still hits me just as hard as it hits a lot of other people. And I don't always win. I don't. I've had some crazy big successes, but that doesn't mean success on everything, on every level, every day. There's still struggles. I still struggle every single day. I'm still tempted every single day, and I still have to make a conscious decision. So don't think you're alone. Don't think that because your husband or these guys that, this realm and this space that we find ourselves in right here are doing it a certain way, and maybe you chose not to, that you're less than, You don't have to settle for living in that depression. I would suggest you to do it this way, because I struggled for many, many, many years and found this is the best and easiest and most effective way that I have ever found that can fix it. But I'm not telling you this is the only way to do it. I just want you to know that there's hope for you, and reach out. And don't give up, don't quit fighting, and don't isolate yourself from your family and us, man. We're here for you too. You don't have to be carnivore to share your heart with us, man. Like, we still love you, and we want to see the best for you. That's the reason we talk about this. And Kip, man, that's the thing, man. Just share your heart with her, man. That's what it's all about. I've been married almost 22 years. There's a lot of sharing my heart with my wife. Sometimes we agree, sometimes we disagree. Sometimes she gets sick of me, sometimes I get sick of her. Not very often, but every once in a while, something might happen. But I
Thank
told her
you,
if she ever
son.
leaves, if she leaves, I'm going with her.
I appreciate it, brother. Thank you, man. That means a lot.
Yes, sir, brother. So, everybody, I need to get in these comments. If you guys have a comment for any of us, or you want to have your question answered, just stick a Q in the comments here, and I will jump in here. I know we've got a few. I'm gonna go back and find those. Here's something for you guys, Dave. How has your journey over the last year? You've seen the progress that you've made. You make videos about it all the time. Your progress over the last year affected the way that you set goals and where you want to see yourself over the next year. How's that changed?
Good question. So I think the biggest thing for me that's changed is that my view of the future is completely different. Before I was my feeling about the future was just, oh well, I'm just getting older. This pain is going to continue. I just need to manage this. I just need to manage that. But now it's like, okay, well, the future's wide open. I can do whatever I want now. I've got like, I don't feel like, okay, well, maybe I've got another 20 or 30 years in me and that's it. Now I feel like, okay, well, I've got as much time as I need to do whatever I need to do. It's just a matter of getting started. So, okay, what's next? What's next? What are my plans? And yeah, it's been great for thinking about the future. So I'd love to know what everyone else feels about that kind of thing. Like Larry and Cassie, how are you with that?
Oh, we're doing well. So we've been on this journey forever, and we've learned a lot. Each and every day that goes by, we learn something new. We gain a little more strength. So we have this holiday challenge going on right now, yeah. And although my side quest was to give up dairy, hasn't exactly happened. However, I feel so much better about things. I don't know if it's the fact that we've eliminated the cheese on the regular, and things feel better and I feel stronger. Right now, my mindset is food is fuel. And I'm so thankful to be back there again. It was a long time. It was just like, you just got to get by it. But as far as like setting goals, it's every day is a goal. Every day, just being on carnivore and staying true to diet is the goal. And I figured long-term goals, I don't know. I mean, we'll get there when we get there, but right now I'm happy with where we're at.
She mentioned earlier when we were eating, she made a couple thin ribeyes. That was actually like T-bones. It was actually like tasting phenomenal.
Yeah.
And for a long time she's been like complaining like, I'm sick of meat, because she was never fully fat adapted because this other stuff was coming in.
Yeah. Still doing carnivore or keto, but never fat adapted. And now it's.
Yeah. And today we were just, you would think we were a couple hungry dogs. So we were eating. Yeah. And as far as that question goes, this whole last year, I basically look at it like I've maintained.
Yeah.
I didn't gain any more weights, but my goal for this next year is to get to my damn goal weight, and after everything I've been through, I think I know what I need to do. I just can't have any cheese.
We know what we need to do. It's just a matter of doing it.
Yeah. It's a matter of, basically do the Shaun White diet and the Dave Mack diet, but we can't have off meal plans. We can't do that. We know that from our past failures.
Or even the dairy, minus a little cream in the coffee, okay, or including that. But by the way, Dave, I wanted to say I did see your picture before workout, an after workout. You got some muscles going on there, bud.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's how long?
I'm actually. That's only about a month.
That's what I thought. That's crazy. He's got some muscles. He's got some definition going on, guys.
Can you tell? Like, it's weird how it works when you start that working out, right, Dave? Because I worked out for, like, I was doing the challenge until recently, and like I could tell a huge difference in my body relatively quick. You're obviously noticing that, right? It's hard to explain, right?
It's really hard to explain what Carnivore is like. So I think the best way of looking at this is, if you haven't done any exercise at all for a really long time, and the first time you go to the gym and you do some weights, you're going to notice a big difference in those first few days, right? Because your body is not used to doing any exercise at all. So it's like, okay, well, I remember how to put on some muscle or rebuild muscle. So your body's going to do that. And it's going to look like, oh, wow, I'm doing excellent. But then it kind of peters off, right? As your body gets used to the exercise and you have to challenge yourself more and whatever. But what happens when you're doing Carnivore, it seems to me, is that never kind of peters out. And like your body just goes, okay, well, I'm building muscle now. That's my job. That's what I'm intended to do. That's what I'm doing. And so the more you challenge yourself, just the faster it comes on. It feels easy almost, which, you know, in the past, well, it's never been easy.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
Well, it's amazing, like, because going from 500 pounds, obviously you got to have a lot of muscle to carry around 500 pounds nearly, right? So, but because by eating Carnivore, you're maintaining that lean muscle mass at such a level, like it's almost like my muscles, I'm losing the fat off. The muscles that were carrying a lot of that around, I didn't lose a lot of that. So it looks like I work out a lot of times in real life, whatever, but I really hadn't been working out a whole lot. And so when I started working out, like you said, you gain that muscle. When you build that muscle, then you're not, as long as you're eating Carnivore, it's not dropping off. You're not losing it, as quickly. So it is pretty amazing.
Yeah. So I would recommend anyone, if you're doing Carnivore, get some push-ups in.
Yeah. Hey, and back to your question, I didn't want to pass that up, what you were asking a while ago, Sean, because I was thinking about it over here. And I was thinking about what I would say, but I've been thinking, about when I started Carnivore, and it honestly, it goes back to before I ever started Carnivore. See, when I was growing up, everybody always seen me as like the funny kid, and like I always like cut up with everybody, and like I'm a goofy person. I just like to have fun and make people laugh. But what people, even inside of my own family, what a lot of people didn't see was the hurt deep inside because of the way that I treated my body. Like I treated my body terribly, and you don't make it to almost 500 pounds like Sean without like seriously doing so much damage to your body, and
mentally and physically.
Yes, mentally and physically. And there was so many things that I missed out on. And can you imagine being 18 years old and all of your friends are like, hey, we want to go out to go do this fun event or whatever, but you try to give them a reason that you can't do it, but really the reason you can't do it is because you actually can't do it. Like you can't physically do it. And so there's a lot of hurt there, and there's a lot of scars and a lot of different stuff like that. But since I've started Carnivore, it's been the first year that I felt like life can be different. Like it's been the first year where I actually feel like the person that I've become in the past 11 months, I still am getting to know this person because I don't know. I've never met this this version of myself, and I'm still meeting new things about me that I didn't even know. And I can't imagine a year from now. Like the other day I said in a video, I said, hey guys, I told y'all that I was going to walk a marathon, but I'm telling y'all by the end of 2024, I'm going to run the whole thing. And when I say that, I'm saying it because like that's a goal that I've set for myself, and I never set goals before Carnivore. Like because I felt like my goal was to get off work and go sit on the couch, and now I can actually make goals that I think they sound crazy, but like because I'm fueling my body with this awesome food, like this stuff is achievable, and I can't wait to do those things.
That's a critical point, man, because like if you're going to change your life, you do have to get to know the person that you're becoming. Because if you're going to change it, it can't stay the same, obviously, right? I mean, it's a rational thought, the law of non-excluded middle, right? It can't be something and not be something at the same time. If you're going to change your life, you got to step out from where you are into the uncomfortableness to become something that you've never been before, that you don't know, that you're going to have to get to know, and leave that junk behind. See, we spend a lot of time trying to hold on to the old junk that we're trying to get rid of, this maybe just the stuff that we like, while we're changing and becoming something new to get to this goal that we want to be. But you can't have both. You can either be something new or you can be your old self. You're going to create new stuff that you like, but the change is stepping out from where you are, being transformed. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind, right? Like, so be transformed into something different and let all the old stuff go, you know?
I think
too, there's a verses.
We hold on to a lot of regrets.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't I find this diet sooner? Why didn't I take care of myself 10, 20, 30 years ago? That's one thing I noticed, especially in ladies group. You know, we talk about those types of things, and it's like the woulda, coulda, shouldas. You know, I think people hold on to that, and if you don't let go of that, it's hard to find the new you, like we're talking about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Regrets and people's opinions. Like there's people out there, and I read a thing about that. There's people out there that are still trying to please people that ain't even part of their life no more. They got the opinions of other people that they're trying to live up to. Those people done moved on to make somebody else's life miserable, and you still living your life trying to please those people that aren't even part of your life anymore. Let it go. Let them take their opinions and their ideas with them when they went, you know. That was one of when I became moderator in Carnivore Quest community for you guys, that was one of my own very things that I like grabbed onto. That was one of the only things that I came up with on my own, that I was like, I don't care, this is my thing. Like whenever somebody talked a bunch of junk and left the group for whatever reason, the first thing I did was go to their comment, and the only comments I would delete was the comments for them nasty people that leave a nasty comment and then leave the group. You take your nasty comment with you. It's all going. You don't get to spout off and then dip out of the group like I'm gonna blow it up and leave. That's one of my even in my group. Like if you gonna be nasty somewhere else and take your nasty comments with you. We don't need it. You know, this is about encouragement, lifting people up, supporting people. And like my mama, she's in the chat right now. Like she said, if you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. And I have spent a lifetime working on trying to do that. Mama, I still haven't quite got to where I need to be with it, but I am working on it. But I gravitate to it and hold on to it.
Yeah. Always a work in progress, right?
Oh, absolutely. Let me get to some of these things, man, because otherwise y'all got me fired up already. Y'all 2 weeks of built up aggression. Oh my goodness. There's Steve right there. Thanks for the super chat, my brother. He says, Teresa refused my request for cheese in my burgers tonight. It was an odd craving for me. What recommendations do you have for a couple trying to balance each other out? What you got, Larry? Cassie?
Well, I mean, I would side with Teresa there. I mean, you're better off without
Me too.
cheese. You know, I mean, you're just better off without that cheese, man. I'll tell you, Steve,
it's not always easy.
It's not always easy,
Mm-hmm.
but it makes it a lot easier if she's down to do it with you.
Oh, for sure.
Know?
For sure.
But yeah, man, just try and give up that cheese for a couple weeks, Steve. See how you feel.
Yeah, the inflammation. I mean, it's amazing what it does to you physically, but like we were saying earlier, you know, the emotional game that it plays too. It's just cheese.
Well,
Somebody,
yeah, but he's having a little slice. He's not having like 2
well, I
pounds
don't
of
know
cheese
how
like
many.
you do.
Well, come on now. I mean, how often? I mean, what if you're having it every couple of days, or a hand? Yeah, I could eat a lot of cheese.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, whenever she comes up with a new recipe, you guys, is Steve, and tell Teresa that she should be like, she buys like, 1-2 pounds of cheese. Oh, you're doing some recipes, huh? But she's sitting there nibbling. And I really, you could even come up with a little compromise, Steve. You could do like, well, no cheese, 5 days out of the week, but
Yeah.
I'm going to enjoy it 2 days. That's what we did for a while. We actually did cheese 1 day a week, but it's just no good. I hope that helps though, man. Thank you.
Somebody mentioned though about cheese having the same addictive properties as like morphine. Right?
Yeah,
Well-
there was a video on Anthony Chafee's channel, him and Paul Mason talking about it, and yeah, apparently it's the same as morphine.
Yeah. So
Wow.
there's a lot to be said about that, and we know that cheese isn't.
I'm sorry. You want to go to Cheese Anonymous?
we know that cheese is not ideal.
Right.
So
Man, that's cheesy.
that just levels it up. Think about that for a minute. If it's going to have the equivalent effects on us,
Well-
morphine.
Yeah.
Something to think about.
Well-
Food for thought, Stephen.
Absolutely. Well, and I mean, I'm gonna tap into it here, and I don't want to get no start. Kit, like, how have you balanced out living with Ken's, and like she's not doing carnivore, you're doing cool. I know there's probably that thing, and I don't want to bring that up. I'm just saying, like, how have you on your end, like, how do you view it, man? Where's the place that you go? Because you've been on this for almost a year. Next January will be a year. You've been doing it. I know it makes it harder, obviously, for you to stay on track because you got somebody in the house that's not doing it. But how have you found that balance to stay on track? Because you've lost a good bit of weight since January, man. You've done really well.
Yeah. That I was thinking about Steve, whenever he was talking about them like having a little squabble over cheese, I was thinking like, dude, that being in that position is a good place to be, because like if your spouse is like, which my wife, she supports me, but she's not carnivore, and I don't talk about it much in my videos. And the main reason I don't talk about it much is because some people get overheated and they're like, but why? I'm like, because she told me she doesn't want to do it. And I don't know how many other ways to tell you that that's what she says, and I have to respect her. But because she's a grown woman, and she's doing her thing, and I love her like more than anybody in the world, her and my baby girl. And she chose not to do this, and I don't know, she might one day, and that's her decision. But I have to, and there's a lot of people out there like me that their spouse isn't doing it, but we have to find ways to make it work in our lives, regardless if someone else is doing it. And sometimes early on it was really hard to deal with the different smells and the different things, like watching them eat those things. But as you become more fat adapted, it gets easier, in my opinion, to fight off those cravings. And you learn little tricks like, hey, if you need to, go outside. Or sometimes if you really, really are wanting it and you like the smell of those cookies, drink some water, or go read a book, or watch a YouTube video. Do something to kind of get your mind away from that moment to help you. But I mean, you just have to decide like, hey, regardless of what anybody else is doing, it's kind of like if you're going to be a Christian and other people say they don't want to be a Christian, well, you can't just be like, hey, I don't want to be one now because other people aren't. You still have to walk this walk for yourself, and regardless of what other people are doing, but also show love to people. And I know that some people in my comment section, they get super mad, and I'm just like, look, guys, that's my wife, and I love her anyway.
Yeah, like here, little Larry, our son, he's 19, and he's been eating fast food and junk the past couple of months. But recently, he's been doing his research. He joined a gym, and he's eating pretty much almost like a weightlifting diet, right?
Yeah.
Very healthy as far as weightlifting goes. But he's brought in fruit and a bunch of this food, and I've been looking at it the last couple weeks, and I even asked him to put some of it in his room. You know, the stuff that didn't need to be refrigerated.
Yeah, because like blueberries, it would be easier to take a few blueberries than it would be a slice of pizza.
Yes, and he has a little refrigerator in his room, and he did that. But like today, it was actually when you took him grocery shopping, he went to the store with you.
Yeah,
I was like, all right, we're cool, because those I'm. That's why I know I'm fat adapted, because those cravings have subsided enough that I can see that stuff in the refrigerator and it's not going to bother me a whole lot. You know, but in the beginning, I'm like, man, get that crap out of here.
Well, I mean, that was kind of my story. You guys know that. I mean, my wife didn't start till May. My kids don't eat this way. So whenever I was in the darkest, deepest condition of my life, you know, I was the only one. But like, I was at that point where I couldn't even focus on anybody. Like, I was like, it was like this. It's like, how am I getting out of where I'm at? I love my wife. I'd give my life for her. I love my kids. I'd give my life for them. But I got to the point where I don't care what anybody else says, what anybody else does. Like, I have to focus on me, or I'm not going to be no good to anybody, you know? So, I mean, it gets to that point, you know, and it has nothing to do with my wife. Like, you're not going to find somebody bigger on commitment than me, bro. Like, I honored to love her in sickness and in health, for richer, for poor, which in our is mostly poorer, but like, you know, my love for her is a choice. It's always a choice. I've been faithful and I will continue to be faithful. I love my wife, regardless of anything else that happens. That's a choice that I made almost 22 years ago. And until the day that I die, that's the only woman for me, period. But there again, that's just one more motivator for me to represent us better, you know, represent me and my wife are one, you know. You leave your father and your mother and you cling into your wife, and she, you know, when you know, what does the scripture say? What God has put together, you know, no man can separate, right? So like, we're together, period. And like, that's a choice that both of us have always, you know, just stayed committed to and made. And like, but at the same time, how am I representing her well, or representing myself, even, you know, if I'm abusing myself, abusing my body, and taking time away that we could have spent the best years of our life later on, you know, enjoying ourselves, but it gets cut short because of the temporary satisfaction that I introduced to myself. You know, that's one thing that I got to think about, you know.
I'd like to add to that. So even though Beth did support you, she didn't follow the diet, but she does now. And your kids are meat-based.
Right.
So, I mean, you just kept plugging away, and eventually, you know, she saw it, whatever it took for the light to go off for her. And, you know, she's a relatively healthy woman too, you know, and it's not like she had a ton of weight to lose, but eventually, you know, she did get on board, and just you kept plugging away, and she saw it, and, you know, and she feels better too. So, and like
absolutely.
I said, your kids too. So, you know, I mean, just because Mackenzie isn't on it now doesn't mean that she won't go keto or she won't go carnivore in, you know, however, you know, months or a year down the road or whatever. So just keep plugging away and don't worry about the noise.
Yeah, if I had listened to one person in the comment section early on when I started my channel, I would have already divorced my wife, because somebody said that I needed to, like, we're never going to work out because she's not carnivore. I'm like, dude, like, if I had to lose her to do carnivore, I would turn this video off right now. Like, because like, she's more important to me. I know that like eating this way is great and I love it and I appreciate it, but I would turn this off. And like, I'd rather die younger and spend the rest of my life with her than lose her. So y'all crazy if y'all think I'm gonna leave her.
Dave, I don't think your wife, she's not carnivore, is she?
No. And that made it hard at the start, as far as like, she'd want to cook for me, and it was like, no, I'm not eating that, you know. But like as Sean said, it's just, I was at the point where I had to look out for myself, and I had to just be saying, look, I can't do it. I'm sorry. I know this doesn't make you feel great, but I just can't do it right now. And over time, again, well, she still doesn't do it, but she now understands, well, she can see the results and she's happy for me. And yeah, so it's worked out well, but it's always tough at the beginning, I think. Yeah,
absolutely. And I mean, you never know. I've said it since the very first video. Like, you never know who you're going to impact or who you're going to affect. It's going to be those people. And just as an example, I told you Mama was in here, right? Off antidepressants for the first time in over 20 years.
Nice.
That's
There
awesome.
we go. Congratulations, Linda. That's awesome.
I mean,
fantastic.
for me, that,
Congratulations.
How would I have known that would have been a benefit, that my mama would come to eat this way and get off antidepressants, and her thyroid's healing too, by the way. We was talking about her thyroid. So, like, you never know. Is it going to fix all your problems? No, but it's a dang good place to start.
Absolutely.
It's a dang good place to start.
Better than the alternative.
Absolutely. And just try it, just try it. If you're out there and you're on the fence and you've tried everything, and you still haven't found that correct answer, give 90 days to it and just give it a try. It might rock your world. And if it doesn't, come back in here to the comments about, look, I tried Carnivore for 90 days. It sucks. It didn't do anything. It made my whole life worse. And we'll go on about our way and whatever. But I got a feeling that if you have tried all these things and you'll give a hard go for 90 days, beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, strict carnivore, something like that, you're going to be transformed. Some things are going to start changing. It's going to give you a new outlook, and you're going to find some motivation that you didn't have before. I guarantee it.
I guarantee it.
I guarantee it. What was the kind of meals you start off with to keep a safe ketosis numbers? Honestly, I have no earthly idea what my ketosis numbers. I've never once in my life ever checked my ketosis numbers. But I started off just eating what I suggest to everybody. Eat. If it had a face and a mama, eat it. If it didn't, don't eat it. Like, that was me. I would eat anything. When I first started, the first month of Carnivore, I ate 3 times, 4 times a day. I ate everything that I could imagine, as much as I wanted till I was full. I got used to eating this way. And then I moved to beef, butter, bacon, and eggs when Cassie and them and Larry did the challenge in the group. And I've been right there ever since. So my suggestion is, don't so much worry about ketosis numbers. Your body knows how to take care of the ketosis. You just worry about what you're putting in there. Get on, the animal products, get on protein, fat, eat the best meat you can afford, and go from there. Just get used to eating it.
That's right.
Sean, I was watching the Discovery Channel the other day, and there was some lions out there ripping a gazelle up. And then when he got done, he had a ketone meter, and he was out there checking his ketones, making sure that his ketones were in the right spot. Did you see that video?
Yeah. He got that ketone meter out of our description. Links in the description.
Those gazelles are pretty lean, though. I reckon he probably didn't get into a good level of ketosis with that one.
Yeah.
Gotta eat fat.
Boy, you gonna make me waste a good cup of coffee. I about dumped it all over the place. Oh my God, you crazy, boy. Could you imagine? Like, I don't negate it. I think there's a reason to check your ketone. I'm not saying it's not important. If you're into that kind of thing, check it, whatever, but just don't make it the main focus. The main focus has got to be the relationship with food. If you fix the relationship with food, the body will fix itself. I promise you it will.
Yeah.
And I was super skeptical.
Yeah. Yeah. That ketone meter, we got that when we did that really, really long fast.
Yeah.
Just to see, but I haven't checked my ketones in a long time.
Well, and then in July or June or July, whenever I did the lion challenge after my earth shattering test results, which now I've come to terms with, that was a fluke. But yeah, I used it then, and I was doing fasting, like 2-3 times or 2 to 3 days every couple days. And my ketones, they were up there, and I was using to also calculate the GKI. and I'm all tired. I'm going back to work. But anyway, yeah, I use it. And some people need it to keep themselves motivated. Just like with the scale, you know, I used to be
like Sean, but you needed the scale.
I needed that scale on the regular. Now it's up in the closet. I don't. It's on a shelf. It's like, yeah, we'll get on it every now and then. It's like it doesn't even. I don't need it anymore. It's like, you know what? Just eat the meat. Be smart about things and just keep going. Things are going to work themselves out.
No, I agree. That's good. Well, man, what was it? Somebody in the group kept saying, keeps talking about I think it's good with the constant glucose or the ketone stuff to be able to see what your body's doing. Like if you want to test it, you can see what like if you're doing keto or, you know, you're having some carbs or, you know, whatever, or even you're just curious to see what different stuff that you're eating does, you know, that's great and all. 'Cause, I mean, there's so many folks that like, talk about the artificial stevias and stuff like that. I don't care what people eat. I'm not like the police, carnivore police, running around with my little badge and handcuffs and, you know, oh, you had a stevia, put your hands, you know, whatever. But like it does affect you. Like for those that think that it doesn't affect you, it does affect you, even though you can have it and that's your choice. And it, you know, it may not stall you out, but it does affect your insulin because your brain doesn't know the difference between real sugar and fake sugar. You know,
Well,
it's going to drop your insulin out.
Different sweeteners have different effects on different people. We're not all one size fits all. You know, I mean, I know people who they can have stevia, which stevia is a plant. It's not. It's the aspartame. It's the high fructose corn syrup, things like that, and
the amounts may.
The amounts
do, but as far as the chemical itself affects everybody the same way. Like you may be able to have so many more grams and it not affect you, whereas if I have 5 grams and you have 10 grams, 10 grams may not affect you as bad as 5 grams affects me. That's how we're different. But either way, the chemical, the makeup, the compound, whatever, affects both of us in some form or fashion. All of us are affected by it. Otherwise, it wouldn't be used and the product wouldn't get sold. That's a reason why they use these products and they use these chemicals because of what it does and its effect on people. So, I mean, yeah, definitely everybody's different, but like it affects us all, every one of us, just at different levels. I agree. Yeah. Oh man, y'all gonna let me get fired up and not do any of these questions. Could one or all of you guys give your definition of anxiety? Kip, what's your definition of anxiety?
Well, I don't really deal with it, so I might just pass this one off to someone that deals with it. Either Larry or Cassie, do y'all or Dave, do you deal with this?
I'll jump in if that's all right.
Go ahead,
me,
Dave.
I mean, I'm assuming that everyone's going to be somewhat different, but for me, anxiety is just always having this fear of the worst thing happening. So, like it's when the phone rings and you know it's your mom or it's your daughter or it's your wife or whatever, and like you panic that, okay, so what's wrong? Okay, there must be something wrong. It's not like they're just ringing to say, hey, how you doing? Or it's just they're having a, you know, they are having a bad day and they want to talk or something like that. It's like, oh, something's wrong. And it's just this constant feeling like something's going to happen is what I would say anxiety is, at least for me. Larry and Cassie, what would your take be?
For me, like when I was dealing with bad anxiety, it was like social anxiety, being around people. Like if we had somewhere to go, my stomach would be in knots. I just was
nerves.
I just didn't feel good. And until we got there and I see everybody and then I'm fine. Like when we had our meetup, like whenever we have family get-togethers, I mean, we're talking my family, you know, maybe not my kids, but extended family that I don't see every day. But that's really gone down a lot on the carnivore diet. But like to Dave's point, what he was saying, the anxiety of getting a phone call. I've gotten phone calls where family members have been taken, murdered, the police calling, and I still deal with that. Like if Cassie is away from the house and she gets a call, what's the first thing I say?
Everything okay?
Everything okay? Because it's like the
Mhm.
first thing I want to hear, and I don't think that'll ever go away from me because I've had so many bad phone calls. I've had 2 really bad ones, and where you get bad news over the phone. And but like I don't think any carnivore is not going to take care of that for me. I just think it's something that I'm just going to deal with. But it's not that bad. It's not like debilitating. How about you, babe? What's anxiety for you?
No,
'Cause
like I
know,
said, just being nervous or worrying about things. Yeah, in a nutshell.
yeah.
But I think Dave and you both nailed it on the head.
How about
Hey,
you?
I was going to tell y'all too that, I was talking to y'all earlier about my wife with anxiety and stuff. She actually hopped in the chat a while ago, and she just said for her that it's like a pit in your stomach. And I've heard her tell me many times about that pit in her stomach, and always worried about different things and stuff like that. So I was just going to point out that she's in the chat, and that's what her response was.
What about
Oh,
you,
yeah.
Kip? Was it you ever suffer from it?
For me, anxiety is Alabama's playing Georgia tomorrow, and I don't know if we're gonna get that W, but I sure would like to. I don't struggle with it like a lot of people and like her or whatever. So that's the reason I was passing it off to y'all, because I didn't want to say some wrong answer and offend anyone.
Right. You good?
Definitely. So for me, anxiety, like, because it was so easy, man. Like when you spend time in the streets as a medic, working emergencies, you're involved in people's worst day, every situation, all day, every day. Like you start thinking that way. Like kind of what Larry was talking about. You always see, or Dave, you always see, you're expecting the worst. What happened? What's going on? But it got so bad for me that not only would I think that when the phone rang or somebody had news or had something to tell me, my mind would drift that. I would sit around and play out scenarios in my head of stuff that wasn't even about to happen. Like I would sit around and think, well, what happens tomorrow if my family goes off here and does this, and then, like, because I've seen these bad things happen into these people's family in this way, things that you could not imagine. So then you start applying what you've seen on those daily to your situation.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I would play these scenarios out in my head. The other way to explain it, I guess, would be like you get in the car and you're headed on a vacation, maybe around the holidays and or Christmas, and you drive. You're 2.5 hours away from the house, and you realize you left the stove on. And so what do? Nobody has a key to the house. You sit there and you worry if your house is burnt down, and then, so you turn around. Do you turn around and drive 2 hours back, you down the road to find out that the stove was turned off already? Like
Yeah.
it's those feelings though. It's not necessarily the act of what it is. It's the feelings that you get inside of you. It's constantly being on edge, regardless of what the situation is. It's waking up in the morning and, and thinking that you're supposed to be somewhere and you're not supposed to be somewhere, or you want to bring something up to talk about on even a live YouTube channel, on a live show. And as much as you thought about bringing that issue up all week long, you get into the YouTube live and then you forget all about the thing that you've been focusing on all week because, or whatever reason. It's the constant worry and nagging and internal turmoil consistently. That's how I would describe anxiety. And then the depression, I don't know how to describe it any better than I have previously. I think depression is a jail cell that you hold the keys to, that you typically, and it's a jail cell of your own making that only you can get yourself out of with whatever means necessary, whatever that is, whatever that looks like. It's settling for status quo and thinking that there's no way out until you're using all your hope up without replenishing it, until you're out of hope. And it's just captivating. It's a weight. It's a heavy weight. It's like lifting weights in a gym 10 times heavier than you were ever intended or capable of lifting. And that's why I have to lean on my faith, man. Like that's the mental health side of this. I give like I said, opening up, the nutrition gives my body the performance it needs. My faith, meditating, that's how I deal with the mental aspect side of this, because my strength doesn't come from me. I gain strength from outside of myself to deal with the situations, because I'm not strong enough to deal with it. If don't mistake, what was the quote? Don't confuse absence of order with freedom. Living life based on doing whatever your own brain comes up with and desires is being a slave and a captive to your desires, not freedom. We think I can do whatever I want to, then I'm free. But no, you're not. You're a slave to your desires. It has to be you're living for a purpose bigger than yourself. Because I could say all kind of great quotes, and Dave and Cassie and Larry and Kip can give you all this inspiration, motivation, and all that stuff. But change and life change and direction comes from purpose, not passion. Passion will inspire you. It'll give you a good bump in how you feel. But real meaningful change comes from purpose. You have to have purpose and direction.
Agreed.
Well said.
I'm never getting through these, by the way. Hey, Martha, good to see you. How did everyone do over Thanksgiving? What did you do to succeed, or what did you learn? Dave, I will start with you, even though I know you guys didn't celebrate Thanksgiving over there, but what did you learn during our Thanksgiving holiday?
I learned that it's kind of I don't know, 50-50. Some people went off a little bit and then back on, and some people just stuck on. Yeah, it was just a normal day for me here. So very quick answer from me. Kip, how about you?
Oh, well, for me, I mean, I need to take advice from Larry and Cassie, because I've struggled since Thanksgiving, and I've struggled mainly because like the going off plan or whatever, that gets me, where like how Sean will say that he will go off plan for a day or whatever, and then he'll hop right back on or whatever. Me, it wants to linger, and it's a thing that I'm still like, I say that I wish I had it all figured out by now, but I realize that I'm still young in my journey, and I realize that, like, I mean, I'm 30 years old. I have time to figure this out. I can't quit in the midst of the battle. I have to keep working at it and finding ways to get better, and eventually not, fall off the rails and things like that. But it's been hard, because right after Thanksgiving, then I got sick as well. And it was and maybe I got sick from the food. I don't know. Or I just got some type of bug from being around a bunch of people. But, I mean, I've been struggling, like trying to get back on track to do the best I can to at least make it to Christmas. And honestly, there's part of me that's just like trying to make it till January, because I have these great plans for January. So, what about y'all?
As far as we go, we did a video on this. It was our 7-day update. Cassie and I had like 3 spoonfuls of stuffing with some carnivore gravy, and then our daughter brought some keto brownies. I had 2 of them. They were real tiny. Cassie had about 50 of them.
At least.
You didn't have that many.
No.
But she overdid it a little bit.
Of course. And that's one thing that I learned. I can still overdo it.
Yeah.
I can still overdo it, even with something that, listen, probably regular brownies made with sugar would have been equally as bad
Yeah.
as these keto. I don't think they were any better, but in my mind, I gave myself permission because it's keto friendly with artificial sugar. And yeah, it affected me negatively. And so I did learn that I'm done with that stuff. Never again. I learned my lesson for the last time. The last time.
Yeah,
Never again.
and I, I just really don't like the taste of those desserts. And I know Holly made it right. It's just
Oh, they were tasty.
yeah, I just don't really dig
The
that
aftertaste, though.
right, the aftertaste.
Yeah.
But the following day, we were at a poker party and they busted out my favorite cake of all time, and we were able to say no to that.
Yeah.
And we didn't have a problem, which was really huge for us. But really,
we did good.
yeah, we did good.
Heck
We're
yeah.
very happy with our Thanksgiving. Now, Sean, I know you went completely off plan, right? As far as Thanksgiving.
Sorry, can I just
Yeah.
interrupt? Because you just reminded me of something. Cassie and Larry, congratulations. You've got another, you got a grandchild on the way? Is that correct?
Yeah, well, no.
Well,
Oh.
No,
we Larry said that prematurely,
Yeah.
and unfortunately,
she lost the baby.
She lost the baby.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
so
man.
sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine,
Yeah.
Dave. We announced it on our members only live because we had announced it there. But yeah, the day I made that video was the day Holly had her ultrasound. So, and then they saw the baby, and but there was no heartbeat. So
I'm so sorry.
yeah, she thank you. She's doing a lot better now. It was the first 3 days were kind of rough, but her spirits are back up, and they're young. She told me that 1 in 4.
1 in 3.
Was it 1 in 3?
1 in 3 women miscarry.
Wow. Well, 1 in 4 pregnant. I didn't know it was that high.
I didn't either.
And so she's just like, it's under God's control.
Yeah.
It's out of her control, and so. But yeah, don't feel bad about bringing that up, Dave.
Yeah,
It was
no, please don't.
I'm really, yeah.
because
You
if
didn't know.
if anybody else thought that was going on, and they weren't part of our members live, they wouldn't know.
Well, yeah, there were people who thought that.
Yeah. Well,
that
I actually went in and took a portion of that video out, or I announced it. I went on the YouTube editor and took it out the day after because she gave us the news. So
yeah.
But
I remember a story after what is it in I can't remember the reference, but after King David and Bathsheba had sinned, his punishment was that their son was taken, as a punishment for his sin in the scriptures. And I love what David said, though, because he's confronted and he says, they kept saying he'll come back in the next life, and David, the scripture actually says, he shall not return to me, but I shall go to him. So there is definitely that hope, for us going forward.
Yeah.
So I definitely praying, for Holly and her husband, and I know it's something you carry with you, man. But like you said, you're
baby up there.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
that little baby is a warrior. So
absolutely.
Yeah,
man, we're at an hour. Inactive user. This is a good one for Larry, man, because Larry taught me some stuff on this. I'll let you take that one, Larry. Question: ribeye steaks. I've been carnivore for months, and I cannot consistently make a good tender ribeye, or maybe Cassie. I don't know if Larry stole it from Cassie. Ribeye steak from being chewy. I buy grass-fed quality from a butcher. How can I make it tender?
Go ahead, baby. Reverse sear. Explain it.
Yeah. So a reverse sear method, or as I learned this, because I was calling it the reverse sear. Kip corrected me on this. It is called a forward sear. So let's say your
tomato
is about an inch plus thick. You're going to want to pop that bad boy in the oven for 220 degrees in cast iron if you can. And once it reaches its desired temperature for about 20 minutes, and then you're just going to sear that on high heat or over the grill, and make sure you let it rest. let it rest for about 10 to 15 minutes, and it should be amazing.
See, now I disagree with that. I don't like letting my meat rest a little bit, maybe 3-4 minutes.
Because you like everything 1,000 degrees.
I don't like cold steak,
it's
man.
not cold.
Oh, you need help.
I mean, it's one thing, like, I might can resist that brownie dessert, but not at Thanksgiving. But I might be able to resist all that junk food, toxic stuff that I used to shove in my body. But you stick a ribeye hot off the grill with a little butter on top of it, with some Redmond salt sprinkled across the top in front of me, there ain't no such thing as letting that thing rest. Like, you're lucky to get you lucky to get that thing from the grill to a plate before I'm taking a bite out of it. That's all I'm saying.
The difference is, let's say you have your muscles are very tight from a long day of work, right? They're going to be really tight. Well, after you let it rest, it's like getting massage, right? You let it rest for a little bit, and then they loosen up, and everything's all loosey-goosey and tender. And
and then you got to pop it back in the microwave to get it hot.
The microwave, ever do that.
You do this awesome reverse sear. It takes you 25 minutes to get it done, and then, I got to put it in the microwave.
Sit there and look at it. Let me sit here and look at this and smell this steak. Yeah. Oh my goodness!
So if you
don't give it at least 2 to 3 minutes, you're kind of ruining a good steak.
I agree.
Like, it needs at least a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Like, because it does have to slow down a little bit to let it redistribute through the meat a little bit, because that meat is super, super hot. You don't have to go 10 or 15 minutes like a lot of people think. Now, if it's something like a brisket, you have to let it rest for a long time. Like at least 35 minutes to an hour, maybe even way longer than that. But with a steak, if you don't believe me, you go cook 2 steaks, and when you get done cooking them, go ahead and slice right in the very center of it, slice one, and then slice the other one like 5 or 10 minutes later, and take a bite from both. And remember, both bites, the bite from the one that's set for a few minutes is going to be better.
The great debate.
It's going to be better.
I agree with you. I think you and we are in complete agreement. Dave might be too, but he's just being a little quiet on this right now. So
Dave's on board with me. He knows better.
Let that bad boy rest.
Dave's on my side.
I'm not getting into the steak debate because I couldn't cook a steak to save my life.
What?
Dave's got that ground beef down pat.
Yeah.
That's
why I cook ground beef, because I'm so incompetent in everything else.
Oh man,
that reverse sear is where it's at, dude. I'm telling you, I'm gonna have to, like I told you about my oven, dude. That oven, my mom, it's got to be replaced, and until then, I can't do my steaks. I'm gonna have to go next door and borrow my neighbor's oven, because I got to have my steaks. I can't go out like that. I just been grilling them on the grill. I mean, I do let them sit for like maybe 2 minutes, because I scrape the grill off a little bit, and I have to walk from the grill to the kitchen, set them down, get me a plate, and put it on there. I mean, I might take a bite off of one of them on the way, but
I love a reverse sear, but I'll tell you what, there's nothing like meat being cooked over fire.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Oh.
Like
the best way is to cook it in the oven and then sear it on the grill. Bam. That's the best.
Or if you're a grill master, grill it all the way through.
Yeah,
that works too.
It's money.
Yeah. Or why even use the oven? Why don't you just like let it go on the cool side and slow like it's in the oven, and then sear it at the end if you're wanting to do that, Larry?
Well, some people can't control the heat as well. I mean, at least in your oven,
I'm no master.
A steady 220 degrees.
See, now
you
they're
have to
talking
move around
junk.
coals and adjust knobs or on the propane or whatnot. That's a lot of work, dude.
But if you're gonna be carnivore for the rest of your life, it is worth learning.
You're absolutely right. Just not right now.
It's like, just give me my steak.
Right.
Oh my goodness, we got enough battles to fight. Learning to fight fire is not one of those battles. All right. Brother Kip, a tomahawk steak for a tomahawk. What is it? A tomahawk steak for a tomahawk steak on the UGA versus Bama game, or you in or not? Go Dogs.
Is he talking about a bet or something like that? I ain't a betting
guess
man, but we appreciate that super chat, and I might get to eat me a piece of steak for that game.
He's saying tomahawk steak. Y'all putting the tomahawk steak eating together on it.
Hey,
Yeah.
Kip,
Thank you for the super chat, brother. I appreciate that.
Do you think a tomahawk steak is overrated?
Yes, I do. And the reason that I do is because you're spending extra money on the bone.
Boom.
I mean, they're very cool. I'll eat a tomahawk ribeye. I love them.
Of course.
But I mean, you could save a little bit of money by getting a cowboy ribeye, and which is basically it just has that last part cut off of there.
Yeah.
If you won't bone in, because I do think meat on the bone when it's cooked is a little bit more tender because it was right there by that bone.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you ever eat some bone, like a prime rib that was bone in, that meat right there by the bone is just awesome. Yeah. But I do think you're spending, like, especially if you get a big tomahawk ribeye, you're like 3/4 of a pound might be just the bone on some of the big ones.
Yeah, and you're
like a half a pound to 3/4 of a pound is just bone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your wife, I don't know if your wife's saying you need to buy her a coffee or if one of us needs to buy.
Did my wife send a super chat to me to buy her a coffee? Oh my goodness.
I wish she had sent it to me.
You might have sent it to one of y'all knowing her.
No, I'm just kidding. That's funny. That's awesome. No, John asked if he can join you in that 5K, Kip.
Absolutely. Look, I haven't set a date. It'll probably be later next year, but that's a goal that I have for myself is by the end of next year, I want to run a whole 5K. And it's going to be hard to get there because I can't run that far now. But that's something that I want to do. And whenever I do it, I'll let everybody know. And whoever wants to do it, I know we're all over the place, but whoever wants to do it can join.
That's awesome, Kip.
Thank you.
That'd be awesome. I'm gonna stream through here. We at an hour. Blah, 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 blah. We're at an hour and 15 minutes. I'm gonna try to hit a few more, and then we're gonna jump. I probably missed a bunch of them.
Do like rapid fire, just bam, bam, bam.
Yeah.
Say hi to everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Where's it? There's one. Janet asked, doing BBEs for December, do plain pork rinds qualify as bacon? Been ketovore 10 months, 70 pounds. Is it possible to put on fat but weigh the same? Put on fat, but I don't know, weigh the same. What do you think, Dave?
The same, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, stay the same.
So do plain pork rinds qualify as bacon? I'm not sure. But is it possible to put on fat but weigh the same?
Only if you lose. Only if you lose muscle.
Yeah, I would be judging things by look in the mirror. Are you happy with what you see? If you are, you're doing okay. Would be my answer to that. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
and everything on beef, butter, bacon, and eggs is on beef, butter, bacon, and eggs because it's a 1-to-1 fat to protein ratio. Pork rinds is not a 1-to-1 fat to protein ratio. So pork belly you can substitute for bacon because it's basically the same thing, 1-to-1 near about. According to Dr. Berry, this isn't me just making this up.
Bacon was part of the pork belly that they like cured it and all that stuff, and they smoke it and stuff like that. But basically, pork belly is bacon.
Right. So, but other than that, like not the pork chops, not the pork rinds, all that stuff. If you're just doing carnivore and not the beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, it qualifies good. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it's not beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. Okay. Larry Cassidy, this one's for you guys. Staying on plan and weight not coming off. I want to lose a few pounds for this challenge. I can't seem to drop anything lately. Any suggestions? I am lost.
Are you drinking coffee with cream?
Yeah, or consuming any cheese, or not getting enough sleep. I mean, there are a number of reasons you could not, your weight's not moving, John. But the main thing for us was dairy. Be strict. Meat and salt, and the scale should move. You're gonna say something?
Oh yeah. So in July, when I was doing my lion diet, and I completely eliminated dairy while still consuming food, right? The only other time I did that was during a water fast, with implementing water fast as well. But all the inflammation went away. All that dairy was gone. I ate only beef. I added no other seasoning other than salt. And I didn't make that past like a little over 2 weeks. I can only imagine where I'd be if I just kept it going, but
Yeah. Hang in there, John.
Hang in there.
Just message me if you got any questions.
Just ditch that cream if you can.
Absolutely.
Enjoy it and be happy with where you're at.
Well, and for anybody else, man, like maybe you're doing things right, because I know a lot of people are eating strict and not losing weight. So like I always tell them the same thing, like look at your sleep, look at your hormones, look at your medications that may not were affecting you. Something may be affecting you now because your body is cleaned out more than it was when you started. So it wasn't affecting you then, but it is affecting you now. Look at your movement. Look at your, there's so many different things that you can look at. That's the first places that I would start, at the weight's not really moving.
One thing I know that works for us, because I saw Chris Bath was in the chat, and him and Laura, when they started their journey, they did fasting every week. They'd fast for a couple of days and then refeed, fast 2-3 days. And we did that. We were inspired by them earlier in our journey. And man, it came off.
Yeah.
But it's not easy to stick with that, for us anyway. No. So you might want to try that, John, a little fasting every week,
Well, there's people like even you guys found, like Larry went 14 days and lost a bunch of weight, but like whenever you started refeeding, you gained it back. Like the idea, that's why I love intermittent fasting, because you can get the benefits of fasting, but you're not eating it. Like you don't want to eat at bedtime. You don't want to eat when your sugar's high in the morning when you get up. That's, the two things to look out for too. Look at the times you're eating. Try intermittent fasting. You get the benefits of fasting without, having the refeed issue.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, let's see. How fast does it change your outlook on life? Anxiety, depression, antisocial behaviors. I hate feeling like a lone wolf in the middle of a loving family. It was like fast 2 months for me. What about you guys? Dave, what about you? I know
2 or 3 months.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was probably within the first month or two, because that's whenever I decided to pick up my camera and start filming. Like, I would have never, the day that I started, like, eating this way, I would have never filmed myself, because I've never liked being in the spotlight or anything like that. But the confidence and the just like, hey man, don't worry about what everybody thinks and speak up more. I even noticed more like on my job at work, like the way I talk now and the way I walk is with a lot more. I'm not saying that like I'm the boss or anything, because I'm not the boss, but I be walking around feeling like I am, and it's weird.
It gives you a confidence.
Yeah, like I walk around and I feel difference and I walk difference, and it's unbelievable.
Yeah, for me it was like about a month, and you really start feeling better. We did a video on day 91. It's an older video. If you go to our channel, JJ and Cassie, I got her on day 17. She looks like she's just ready to give up on the world, and by day 90 she's a completely different person.
Yeah, I felt defeated.
Yeah, I mean, and I show that in real time in that video. The video is like a year and a half, 2 years old, but it's called Day 91, Seeing Real Results. And it's all about Cassie's transformation during that time. And it was amazing. So don't know how long you've been on it, but stick with it. You're going to feel better.
Hey, Larry, did you repost a part of that, like a clip from that in a video recently?
Oh, I'm sure I did.
I think so, because I remember seeing you talk about it, I think, in a video recently. And when I seen it, I had to pause the clip, because I was like, dude, you could see it all over her face that like she did not look like what she does right now.
Oh, no.
Like she's beaming now compared to the way she looked in that video.
Yeah,
You
for
ain't
sure.
lying.
It
She
totally
really
changed
making
it.
Larry look bad now.
I know, man.
I love you, brother. That ain't hard, man. We both outkicked our coverage. Lynn, thank you so much. We appreciate the super chat. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Lynn.
Oh,
Thank you.
I don't know. I don't know what in the world I just did.
I don't know.
You're still here.
I did something to my screen though.
Uh-oh.
You look good on this side. We can see you over here.
You're looking good.
Why don't we do a single shout outs? I'm gonna say hi to a few people, and
Yeah,
then
there we
you
go.
do it. And
Yeah,
then
do it.
I'm gonna say hi to Stone Mountain. What's up, buddy?
Hey.
Stone Mountain
There we go.
he was on the carnivore diet, and then he wasn't on it for a while, and you recommitted. But brother, if you guys check out his channel out, Stone Mountain. Stone Mountain No, that's not his full channel name, is it? I can't remember.
Stone Mountain Adventures.
Yes, Stone Mountain Adventures.
Boom.
Thank you, Kip.
Ding, ding,
Really
ding.
rooting for you, man. I know
Yeah.
you're back on it, and he, like us, he's got a lot of weight to lose, and hope you get there. So, and everybody else, I don't want to take up all the time, but you want to say hi to anybody?
I love y'all.
Dave, you want to say hi to anybody?
Yeah,
go for it, Dave.
look, just say hello to Ron and Jeannie who are in the chat. Check out Ron's channel at Carnivore RD. Also meet Keto MECFS Warrior. Check out her channel. How you doing, Chansonette? And also DC Learning to Live. Make sure you check out his channel. He's overcome a lot with the carnivore diet, and well worth checking out his channel. Sorry, Kip, you want to shout out anyone?
Yeah, I see that carnivore couples in the chat, and I've been a supporter of their channel since very early on because they've been a supporter of my channel, and I've become good friends with them. So y'all go check out their channel. It's just search Carnivore Couple. Then also I see Meeting Wellness is in the live stream, and thank you for being here as well. I mean, I haven't been able to go through and see a lot of people, but definitely thank you to those two for being here, because I know they're busy enough with their channels, and to take the time to be here with us too, that means a lot. Thank you guys.
Yeah, I was a subscriber to Carnivore Couple. I think they had less than 100 subscribers. It was way early. I just, kind of keeping an eye on them.
They're doing great.
Yeah. So
absolutely. Awesome. There's so many Carnivore Couple, Chrissy at Meeting Wellness. Like, there's so many good ones, man. That is awesome. Let's see. And I mentioned Martha earlier from Living La Vida Carney. She's got a great channel. We appreciate all you guys. Somebody asked a question, and I lost all my stuff. Whenever I came back at all the last two or three that I had starred, but they had asked a question about the Eucharist. And for those of us who are religious and taking the Lord's Supper, well, I call it Lord's Supper, whatever. I take it. I do this in remembrance of him, like taking the Lord's Supper in remembrance, the ordinance in the church is how I view it. Like I'm taking it. That little bit of carbs, the juice and whatnot. Like, my relationship with God, to me, is more important than carnivore. It's more important than anything else, because that's my sustaining power. Like, my relationship with him is exactly that. I am crucified with Christ, nevertheless I live, yet not I, but Christ who lives in me. And the preaching of the cross is foolishness to those of us who are perishing, but to those who of us who are saved is the power of God unto salvation. So that is where I draw my strength. I'm looking for an eternal security in life hereafter, and that's far more exceedingly abundantly more important to me, and live in obedience and honoring him, to me, than anything else in my life. Some may feel differently, but that's how I feel.
Yeah, usually the wafers are pretty small too. We visited Sean's church, and the wafers were like the size of a Tic Tac. I don't even think there was a carb in there.
I think he'd nullify the carbs anyway. So
yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, I wish that sometimes people would just seriously use wisdom. And I don't say that to be mean or anything, but I mean, that little bitty wafer, that's not what's causing the world's problems. The world's problems is coming from like people having a ton and ton of carbs and a ton and ton of sugar. Like, I mean, there were times in the Bible that it talked about where somebody had breaking of bread and different things, and Jesus turned the loaf into whatever. So I'm not saying that like having that little bit, but see, the thing is now even bread then is not like bread is made today, and not like it's consumed today. And with all the way they bleach it and all the different things that they do now, everything's made to make you like crave it like crazy. And the problem is not even, I know that, and me and Sean, we've talked about spices at different times, and I'm okay with some spices right now, and some people go to the point of not having anything like that. But having a little bit of something like that to me is not the problem. The problem is donuts. The problem is pizza, and the problem is Skittles and all the ice cream and stuff like that, not because you had black pepper. Like now, if you're having severe pain from black pepper or you stuffy nose or something, then yeah, but I just don't think that everybody's going to fall over dead from black pepper. I think you're going to get diabetes from ice cream.
For sure.
Yeah, I agree with that. Oh man, it's been great. I love catching up with you guys. We're at an hour and a half. I'm gonna jump it off. If we didn't get to your question, there's next week. We're gonna try to be back here next week. You can even put it in the comment section under the video, not in the chat, because this chat will go away when the live goes off. But if you'll hit up the comments, leave us a comment. Tell us all on whatever channel what you thought about the show, what you like, what you didn't like, what you want to see, how much, what it's mean to you. Give us some of your experiences and how you view these things. But we're so glad that you guys made it. Invite somebody to come watch next week with you, and we'll look forward to seeing you guys then. You guys want to say anything before we close it on out?
Love you guys.
Anything else? Absolutely.
Yeah, love you guys. Thanks for joining us. Always great to catch up with you all on a Friday night, and looking forward to the next one.
You want
Absolutely.
You going first?
Love y'all. Thanks for showing up.
Dang, that was easy.
Yeah.
Guys, glad you watched. If you're part of our holiday weight loss challenge, keep it up. You guys are doing great, and we love y'all.
Absolutely. We love you guys. And the links are definitely under the video. If you're not subscribed to these guys, what are you waiting for? Today is the day. But until then, we'll see you guys next time. You guys stay strong. Keep pushing forward. We love y'all. And we'll see y'all soon. See y'all later. Take care.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.